Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy SimplyFoodByTy, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a delicious batch of Korean fried chicken. So what we're going to work on right now is the sauce, because you want that to have time to marinate. So what we're adding in is 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. We're also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Now that is far different from regular soy sauce, so make sure that it says dark soy sauce. That's going to add an additional amount of sweetness to this. We're also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of gochujang. Now, gochujang is a red Korean chili paste. Now, depending upon how spicy you want these, you can add up to 2.5 tablespoons, but I wouldn't do any more than that, or it could be a bit unbearable. Just throwing that out there. Also, try to avoid getting this stuff on your hands because it'll stain your fingers. The next thing we're going to add in is a half a teaspoon of low sodium regular soy sauce, okay? Then we're going to be adding in 1/8 of a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Now, you really want to make sure that it's toasted sesame oil, and please make sure that you measure it out. Sesame oil is very, very potent, so you do not want to put too much. The next thing we're going to be adding in, of course, is the honey. Now, this is pure honey, and I'm using 1/4 of a cup. Now, if you can find local honey, that's also great, but just make sure that it's pure honey, not honey that has a bunch of fillers and all of that. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking this seems like this is going to be really sweet, but it is going to have a bit of a kick. That gochujang really goes a long way, so just keep that in mind, because we're also going to be adding in 1/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. You can use dark brown, that's completely fine. And then we're going to be using 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Now, of course, that doesn't really matter what the brand is. As long as it's 3 tablespoons, you'll be fine. Okay, and then you're just going to give that a good whisk, and then we're going to go ahead and sit that to the side. Now, if I were you, I would make sure that you do this first, because you really want to make sure that all of these seasonings that are in this sauce really have time to gel together. So I like to do it at least about an hour or 2 prior to actually making the chicken wings themselves. That way you can just plop this in the fridge, let it do its thing, and then you can be done with it. But right when you are about to start cooking the chicken, take the sauce out so that it can get to room temperature. That way you're not coating your hot chicken with cold sauce. So keep that in mind. The next thing we're going to focus on now is the batter for the chicken itself. Now, as far as what type of chicken, you can use whatever type of chicken pieces you would like. But what we have is we're adding 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. We're adding in 1 teaspoon of onion powder. We're going to be also adding in 1 teaspoon of seasonal salt. We're going to be adding in 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. We're also going to be adding in 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. Then we're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of ginger. Now, this is already minced ginger. If you are able to freshly mince it, by all means, but that is a lot of extra work. Okay, and then we're also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. Now, what we've just added all this to was 1 full cup of cornstarch. That's not flour. That is 1 cup of cornstarch. That's going to give the chicken an extra bit of crispiness to it. Now, one thing that you guys are not going to see me do, which what I would highly advise you do, is once you start mixing this in, have yourself a little container on the side, so that way you can start to slowly add in the milk. Now, you can use buttermilk if you would like, or regular whole milk. I wouldn't use like a 2%. I'm using just regular milk, but like I said, if you want, you can use buttermilk. That's completely fine. If anything, it'll just add more crispiness to it. And you want to slowly add that in so that it almost turns into like a pancake batter. You do not want this to be too thin. You want it to be slightly thick so that it can really, really coat the chicken. So as you can see, I'm adding it in little by little. And you want to make sure, like I said, that you have that milk on hand, because if not, it's going to clump up and it'll become a complete mess. So just have that on the side ready to go. Now, I'm going to be using chicken legs in this recipe. Like I said, you can use wings, you can use thighs. I wouldn't advise to use chicken breast. I just feel like it'll dry out. But if you want to try it, you can. You can make chicken tenders with this recipe. That's completely fine. Now I'm just pouring the batter all over the chicken just to make sure that it's fully coated. And then we're gonna let this sit for, I would say, roughly about a half hour. You don't have to let it sit overnight. If anything, I would actually advise against letting it sit overnight because it'll probably become too gummy and then it'll just become a mess. So I would say no more than an hour to 2 hours of letting it sit, and then you'll be good to go. We are going to be frying these. I would not advise using an air fryer. This is not that type of recipe. If you have a deep fryer available, that's fabulous. If you don't, hey, it's totally fine. I'm going to be pan frying these, and it really does not take that long. Now, I'm going to be cooking these in regular vegetable oil. You can use whatever type of oil you want. I would not use olive oil though, okay? Make sure that the grease is at temperature. That is key. It is the only way the chicken is going to get extra crispy, and it's the only way that you are not going to be having this chicken just sitting in this grease for an unnecessary amount of time. Now, the key to Korean fried chicken is once this chicken is fully cooked, okay, you guys, you're going to remove it from the grease. Let it sit on a piece of paper towel or something for, I would say, no more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those same pieces of cooked chicken and you're gonna put them back in the grease for an additional 5 minutes. You're gonna double fry it. It's gonna add an extra layer of crispiness, and I promise you it's gonna make the biggest difference. Now, as you can see by using cornstarch, that's really gonna give you that true Korean crisp, Chinese food chicken wing crispiness. And that really is a big factor in this recipe. I would not substitute and use flour. I promise you, if you use flour, by the time you add the sauce on it, it's going to become soggy and you're just not going to enjoy it. So definitely try out the cornstarch. It's a good little trick. So like I said, make sure you fully cook the chicken. Roughly takes anywhere between, 5 to 10 minutes. That will honestly depend on what type of chicken you're using, or pieces, I should say. But once you know that it's fully cooked, sit it to the side, let it drain for just a few minutes, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you're going to put it back in the oil, double fry it for an additional 5 minutes. And it is going to come out extra crispy, and that's what you want, because now we're about to go ahead and toss it in that sauce. So I'm going to just put it in a little separate bowl here and put anywhere between, a couple of tablespoons. You guys can eyeball it just enough so that you can make sure that the wings are coated. And I would definitely say this is something that you want to eat right away, because you really want that crispiness to stick to the chicken. You don't want it to go soggy. This sauce is absolutely divine. All you have to do now is get yourself some green onions, some sesame seeds if you would like, top it off, and pretty much that is it. That's how you make Korean fried chicken, or at least that's how I like to prepare mine. This sauce, you guys, you can use on any and everything. Trust me. So if I were you, I would double up on that sauce. Look, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you are new to my channel, welcome to Simply Food by TY. If you're one of my returning subscribers, well, y'all babies know I love y'all so much. And as always, y'all stay cute and take care. Bye, guys.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.